Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it the circle or the X? Oh my god, I'm having a crisis.
Not a good start. But we'll count you down here in 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck, guys.
Good luck. It was the circle.
All right. We're in it. Match number 2, jaaski versus Justin. And I don't know, Bear, did you get a chance to watch their first match, or did you hear about it?
Their first match? No, I didn't see it.
It was on Shell Shuffle, so week 2, and jaaski got out ahead very quickly and had a pretty good lead, but Justin made an incredible comeback, and it came down to the last second. Both players finished just, I would say, like 4 or 5 spike traps apart.
Okay, so we got a pretty even matchup
Oh,
here,
yeah,
then.
very, very even. I mean, jaaski is flying, though.
Wow,
Look at this!
yeah, holy shit.
I mean, that's a lead for him. That was just right out of the gate.
All right, give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah, no worries. jaaski with some incredible early progress there. He did say that he did like the original slip and slide, so he does have that under his belt. And even though that level is much, much easier than this one, the fundamentals are the same. So that is super helpful for him. And you can see Justin still learning his way through it, but he seems to have got it down now, as he's also making pretty good progress here. He's slowing down a little bit, and he does a wacky spin jump, but learning on both sides here now is jaaski still with a slight lead, I believe. Mistiming a couple of those jumps, though, as both players still learning them. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, Bear did complete the level, but he had 2 incredible sight reads in order to do it. So it definitely is going to require a high-level play in order to succeed at completing the map, but it's entirely possible. We'll go ahead here and listen in early here on jaaski, who's making some pretty good progress.
Retain momentum. I fuck with it. No, you gotta hit that. You gotta jump just a tiny bit early. You gotta land in it.
The music is nice until the P-switch gets hit, and then it's very stressful. Ooh, too high.
It's a very short hop. Okay. Like a really, really short hop.
I'm actually pretty damn excited to watch them play this now.
Yeah, I mean, this first section's a lot of fun because, as I was saying in the pre-show, there's nothing in this stage that's super, super hard. Everything's pretty consistent. The difficulty never really spikes at any point.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. It's just that it's always really hard.
Yeah,
Like,
it's,
once you get to a certain point.
it doesn't really let up, but I think it's good that it doesn't, there's no double munchers, as we were saying. And
Yeah.
that allows for a consistent pace. And I think you had a very, very consistent pace. Like, it was a little slow on Section 2, but Section 2 is definitely the hardest, so that's not, I think, any surprise.
That seems like it's been a consistency through the first 4 weeks that Section 2 is often the most brutal.
That tends to happen. Sometimes it's Section 3, though, and sometimes it's Section 1. I think most often it is the second section, but there are definitely some maps where Sections 1 and 3 can get very challenging. There's, of course, one map that is the only map that's this way that only has 2 sections, only 1 checkpoint. And
oh, shit.
Yeah, that map, that's the villainous platformality, too.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that was already so hard. That's only got 1 checkpoint?
Yeah. And both those 2 sections are absolutely brutal. I'm hoping someone at least sees the first checkpoint. It's going to be difficult, but it's possible.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. I want to just issue a blanket apology for all of the curse words that everybody had to hear through the course of the last hour. Very loud ones at that. I mean, they're normally a little bit more reserved.
I mean, sometimes you got to have emotion. I mean, it worked out for you.
Apparently, dude. Yeah. Something worked.
I think avoiding frustration can be important for some specific sections that have really, really hard jumps, because what ends up happening is you make it to that hard jump and you die, and then you get frustrated, and then the easier jumps you start losing on those because you're frustrated.
I was losing my mind on Section 3. The very first jump, I couldn't believe how many times I died there.
Yeah, no, that jump's a bit awkward. Oh no, jaaski he lands on the platform, but he jumps backwards.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think both players are kind of struggling with that last jump there. You do long jumps and short jumps most of the way, and then there's one, I think, little mid jump right there that you kind of have to do.
Dude, I'll tell you what, chat helped me out big time this week. I'm really glad I started listening to them because they started suggesting things that just made immediate sense, and I don't know why I didn't think of it before.
Yeah, I think the final section for you, figuring out the small jumps, was a
Yep.
big help.
That was them.
You could small jump your way through the whole part, actually. That whole section doesn't require any stopping or any mid jumps. It actually does have one solid flow to it.
Even on the very bottom, because
Yes.
the spacing is different. You know, it's got like it's got 4 spikes instead of 3.
You are going through it faster.
Oh, okay.
If you hit that first one gap well, then you have enough speed to make it with a small jump.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, your method there on that one was actually probably a bit more consistent because the jump timing's a bit awkward for that one. I remember.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I just started going with what I was comfortable doing or what was working.
And
for me.
that's kind of important to do. I think as long as what you're doing doesn't take too much longer. Oh, Justin, I think just took the lead there into the second section for the first time, but he did what I think both, or at least what Dan did, which was stop.
Just hesitated here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's not a huge deal. I mean, you get to see the objective, you get to see what you have to do, and hopefully you don't make that mistake again. Usually a one-time thing.
It was very clear to me early on, pretty much immediately, in fact, in this stage, that it was going to be all about the Mo again.
Yep. I mean, Dan, we heard Dan whenever he's talking about Uncle Mo a lot. You know that you got to keep the speed going. Both players had a strong start, but I think they're kind of. I think we saw you master this first section pretty quickly. And
I had the hiccup in the beginning where I didn't realize that I had to actually hold right to maintain the momentum.
Yeah, we saw that. You noticed that your speed was too low on that first section, but I think both these players kind of struggling. Oh, Justin, though, he's starting to build a little bit of consistency here.
Yeah, he's figuring it out.
So he's opting to let go of down sometimes. That is possible and does work, but I find it more difficult to do that. It does give you a little bit more speed sometimes because when you're running, Mario does gain a little bit of momentum on the ice, but you don't ever need it, and I feel like it just kind of confuses me. But I mean, I watched Panga play this level, and he actually let go of down every time. Anytime he was able to, even on these like 2x jumps in the first section, he would let go of down and just run through them.
You think he's just trying to keep his APM up?
Maybe, I don't know. I think really it's just I think it's what he's used to, honestly.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Justin with the solid progress here, though. Jaaski's still trying to get to the second section. And I think the big hiccup here, as both players are still learning early, the big hiccup is that that first part of the final section, the first P switches there. Those jumps are really tight. We saw Dan repeatedly struggle with bonking on that over and over and over.
Yeah, man. Like God, I had multiple instances where I felt like a quarter-second difference between jumping off the edge of the ledge and hitting that P button.
Yeah, that's the tightest timing I think compared to the final part of section or checkpoint 1.
Yeah, it was brutal.
I'm hoping Jaaski can start to make some progress here. He does. There we go. Just like that. He's on to section 2, but he does the same. I think every player has pretty much done that. They're scared of the thwomp, or they're scared of the P switches not appearing.
Yeah.
But that's the one interesting thing about this map is even if you have run out of time, is I think Justin, he got it? He does. More progress from Justin. Let's see how he misses the P switches. He almost slid off the ledge. He recovered it though. Let's see how he handles this, because a lot of players, he's letting go of down. That's causing him stress, but he does have another P switch to work with. Both you and Dan figured out quickly that you can go back and use the extra P switches there.
Yeah, I was very appreciative of that, even though I'm pretty sure it never even made a difference for me. I think I made it through on the first one when I actually made it.
Yeah, the timing is best when you do it in one go.
Yeah.
Justin with very strong
Not
progress.
even close here.
Yeah. But what I was saying a second ago was that even when you know that you don't have enough time left on the P switch, it's still good to try to make your way through it, as it does give you a little bit of muscle memory practice, even though you are not going to make it. Because, I mean, you're going to die, but you can't restart anyway, especially on the second checkpoint. So that allows you to get a bit of extra practice, which is what you see these players are doing. Like Jaaski knows he's dead there, but
that was one of the more frustrating parts of the second section for me too, is that like it was wasted time that was not educational in any way. It was just me sitting there waiting in the parts that I'd already figured out.
Yeah, Justin keeps letting go. I can't recommend you do that.
He's gonna be hitting that every time for sure.
I think he's just struggling. I don't think he's doing it really intentionally. Oh, he's trying to go back. Did he? I don't think he had another P switch though. let's listen in on Justin here. We haven't actually checked in with him just yet. I think his arms hurting or his hands hurting having to hold the down button. It is a bit annoying having to hold it the whole way through.
Yeah.
When I was clear checking this level, I think I lost feeling in my thumb because it was 4 hours of holding down.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was not good. This level, even though I think it's an easier level, was very tough to clear check because it's so long.
Do you remember when I tweeted a photo of my thumb a couple years ago when it was going through that period of complete degradation?
I don't remember that actually.
It was a pretty noteworthy photo. You probably would have remembered seeing it because my thumb looked like
yeah, I do remember
looked like the
that.
skin is like melting off of it.
Yeah, I do remember that. That's
So that can happen to me. It's usually stress related, but just this thumb is just it's a very sensitive thumb, and just like you're saying here, we were having to hold down this whole time, man. I almost endured a gamer injury.
Well, it's good that you got through those 2 sections and beat the level then.
I know, yeah, I might have been screwed.
Yeah. Justin has the consistency down really well here. Oh, he hit the P accidentally.
Yeah.
I was skating dumb, so this is an attempt, but I'm not gonna make it.
Why would you remind me of that, Bear? It was so awful. I had to live with it. That was my thumb.
It's his thumb. I'm gonna take a look at Jaaski here because I think he's still having a lot of trouble with this first section. Whereas Justin has built the same consistency we saw from you. I can't remember your first checkpoint time. I feel like it was 16 minutes, I want to say.
That sounds right. Yeah, I think I got it pretty quick.
17:30. All right. So Justin has a chance at that, but the big thing is going to be that sight read that you had. That was because that section I think is harder than you made it look. Like the
1,000%. Yeah.
The reversing on the springs can be really touchy. And none of the jumps are difficult, but if you mess up even once, you're gonna die right before the pipe.
Yeah. Yeah,
I did enjoy when you went through the pipe and you panicked at the 2 spikes. Did you forget that Did you forget that you had a mushroom?
Yeah, I was like, oh fuck, I don't know this. I don't know like what trick you have to do to avoid taking damage sliding through 2 spikes that are this close or something like that. But no, then it turns out, just walk.
Yeah, no. Oh, is Jaaski using analog? Yeah, you pretty much have to use D-pad, I feel like, on this level. Even I exclusively use the analog stick, I use D-pad on this level.
Goodness, yeah, I don't know how you do analog stick with this.
Yeah, I would recommend even now just switch to the D-pad because you don't have to make any... There's no jumps where precision on left or right really matter. All the precision is in your jump, hitting the A button. Using left or right, there's never a precise swap moment of that besides hitting the springs, and you have plenty of time to do that.
And he's just struggling with it. I remember struggling with this first jump here in this section too, actually. Just trying to... Well, it's that jump, and then the jump that he just screwed up as well, Justin did.
Oh, look at this, though.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Making it through here, and now let's see how he handles he did the same thing, slid right past the P's. I like how similar these players are. Neither you or Dan did that, but both Justin and Jaaski did do that. Oh, he's definitely out of time here. He's going to opt to see more of the level here than go back and hit the P switch.
Do you think it's possible to recover from a bump by doing a couple of extra quick hops to get your speed back up?
Depending on the section. That section right there, yes. If you do the entire rest of the section perfectly, you can bonk once, but you have to literally make not a single other mistake, and your momentum has to be perfect, and then your jump has to be perfect. It's very hard. If you bump, you're like 99% chance gonna fall.
Yeah.
But that's why I tried to I didn't add any jumps that were too crazy in these sections because of how tight the timing is.
See, now Justin's consistency is helping him a lot here. I noticed that was helping me a lot too, just to be able to learn those more.
When a level like this, when a level's long like this, you really want to have consistency at your side because mistakes cost so much time. That's the bonk right there. What just happened to Justin, that was what absolutely destroyed Dan. And is definitely the hardest part. Dan actually asked about it afterward, and I mentioned to him that you really want to jump early, even if it looks like you don't want to. Because if you jump early, you think you're going to hit your head, but you don't actually hit your head, and you do make the jump.
Gotcha.
So... We'll see if Justin can learn that or if he'll struggle like Dan did.
It's hard, man. This level is, you got to be perfect.
It's a different kind of way to play the game too.
Yeah.
The sliding is a lot different than just running, so it pretty much removes, like I said, that left or right movement and just asks you to make jumps in a certain manner and time your momentum.
Yeah. Something I've kind of been noticing, though, along those same lines is I find myself just kind of allowing, well, especially in your levels, I find myself kind of just allowing the character to just float forward. You know, that infinitely preserved Mario momentum that just keeps you going. Like, I just end up finding that I'm better off if I just let that be, like hardly ever move left or right if I've got the momentum going and just focus entirely on my height.
Yeah, if for a lot of these levels, you want your first attempt, you want to just trust that the level is going to keep you moving left to right.
Exactly, yeah.
And then when that doesn't work, then you start adjusting your jump and going, all right, I need to do this, I need to do that. But yeah, usually on your first attempt, you want to kind of trust the map and just go with it. That's super helpful on this map because that's all this map is just keeping your momentum and jumping at the right time. That was kind of the same thing with week 2's map, the shell map. It was a lot about just going as fast as you could.
Yeah, when I was watching everybody else play that, because I didn't see any of it, I got to realize that myself.
Justin had he didn't bonk, but
yeah,
he
I
bonked
was
the second
right
time.
there again, man. Damn.
He's looking really likely to get this first checkpoint here. Is jaaski? I don't know if he's still using analog, but that is definitely going to make things a lot harder.
I think once Justin hits that second P switch up top, he'll probably be like 1 or 2 runs away from getting it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how someone approaches that now, since we saw you sight read. I want to see if it's maybe a more sight readable objective or if that was just an incredible play there.
Yeah.
jaaski back onto section 2. He is making progress, but it's a bit slower than Justin.
Noticeably so, yeah. He's been a lot less consistent.
I definitely think this level, I don't want to just automatically say, oh, it's a very fun level, but like I do think the mechanic itself is very fun. That's why I wanted to bring it back, since it was a sequel to an original level that I made.
I was having a genuinely great time for the first like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I think if there was a way to add an instant kill block, that second section wouldn't be as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jaaski, I think he let go. I don't think he changed his momentum there, and it caused him to slow down. I think it's the first time we've seen that.
Yeah.
Let's see if Justin has got another good attempt in him here. Let's listen in on him now, since he seems to be doing a pretty good job.
No.
Oh, commentator's curse.
Any hiccups breaks it.
He's got a co-commentator as well.
Oh, nice.
Oh, there she goes. Never mind.
Would you just sit on your toilet shedding the jerk?
You do start to build a really nice flow once you understand the jumps of each individual section, and you kind of get into the groove of things.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was really satisfying once I started to figure it out.
I think my favorite part is the part Justin just finished. I think that part's really, really fun, and it's not too difficult.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back on to the final part here. Oh, he takes a bonk.
Fuck my butt.
No, I'm 100% with you on that. This is where this level stops being fun.
Yeah. The waiting, I'm not sure that there's probably some way to fix it through the Mario Maker. Like, I know that if you have block smush Mario, that can cause an instant death, but it's very hard to do that. I was actually running very low on parts and space for this map.
Really?
This map actually utilizes almost every single square of space that you're given for a Mario Maker map. So
I was wondering why, and then I realized all those P blocks, huh?
No, the P blocks are just blocks. The second section has a lot of saws.
Oh, okay.
This first part, I think, is light on parts, but the springs count as parts, the P switches, the thwomps, there's also other sections that you can't see that are connected to this section. So it wasn't so much a part problem as much as it was a space problem. jaaski, I think, is this his first time through? No, I think he's been here once.
Nah, he's been here once at least.
Yeah.
Twice.
He's going to take a reset. Oof, he's going to have to take another reset now as well. That first jump seems to be a bit tough for people. I think the speed at which you jump is a bit misleading with how fast you can slide. I think that's been tripping people up.
Yeah, once we can see one of them again, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the difference maker is once they hit that second P-switch up top, then they're going to start to like get past that mental barricade, you know?
Yep, Justin again with that bonk. But jaaski, I mean, I want to say they're not tied. I think Justin's gotten a little bit further, but jaaski's catching up here now. We haven't been listening to jaaski too much because he was struggling here on this section, but now that he's starting to get it down, I don't know if he switched to the D-pad or not, but
I think chat said he did.
he did. Then there you go. I mean, that's the kind of hot switch you need to make in this kind of scenario. Like I said, as an avid control stick user, I found this level almost impossible and had to switch to the D-pad.
Yeah.
But again, luckily you don't have to really learn the D-pad in a way. You can pretty much just.
Apparently, people are saying he's been using D-pad the whole time.
Oh, all right. Well, sometimes you get misled, and you gotta deal with it and move on. Both players still looking for that first checkpoint.
I'm a little bit surprised that they're still struggling so much here.
It's really that one bounce that they're doing the same thing Dan did, and I can totally see why. I think it really makes you want to jump later than you actually have to, and that's really that connection you have to make to jump earlier there. Also, jump height matters. I think a lot of people don't realize that jump height affects jump like duration. So the higher you jump, the longer you're going to be in the air, and like the more your speed is a bit different. Or I don't know if your speed's different, but rather like if you don't hit the ground again, you do lose a little bit of speed. I was just watching jaaski do it. And that can really mess you up. Like it can not let you do the jumps just right if you're jumping too high. So there might be, like, say, a spot where you can jump higher, but you don't want to jump higher because if you're in the air too long, then it messes up the next part. I think that's what we're seeing here is they're taking jumps slightly too high, and it's kind of slowing them down overall. But yeah, I think we're pretty much close to tied here. I think it's going to come down to who hits that
Neither
P
of them have
switch
hit
first.
that second P-switch, right?
Yeah. We'll still leave the lead with Justin here, as it doesn't. I think it doesn't really matter here, as both players. It'll be whoever gets that first P-switch. I think will gain a significant lead.
Yeah.
jaaski over jumping that section a bit. Justin back on to the final section here. Still slightly more consistent than jaaski is, but I think struggling more on this section than jaaski has. I think jaaski has made a bit more progress. There it is again. There's that bonk right there. He's got to make an adjustment or he'll never make it.
Yeah. Man, it's so close, though.
It is. This is what we get from these players. They're always close together. Their skill level's so similar. Of course, I'm excited again later on. After this, we'll have Mathis versus Ryan, that rematch. And I know Mathis wants that one. I think Mathis wants that one a lot.
Mathis is starting to show up, man.
I think he's been showing up the whole time, honestly.
Oh, yeah, really? I mean, I shouldn't say that exactly. Yeah, you're right.
But he's had some good performances for sure. And I think Ryan specifically doesn't want to lose to Mathis because I think he's unhappy that Mathis has been playing the underdog. Which, I mean, to be fair, Mathis is the underdog.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, I mean, if you're picking Mathis over Ryan right now, you're picking the under Vegas odds for sure.
Yeah, but I think Ryan has a problem with how much of an underdog Mathis is. But I'm nervous for Mathis because, as we've said, consistency is important on this map, and the most consistent player is Ryan by far.
Yeah,
his pace is always really, really good. Justin with another chance here. He needs to jump immediately. He still misses it.
He's got to figure that out. That's killing him.
Yeah. That pretty much is exclusively the reason why Dan didn't get the first checkpoint. I think if that jump was a bit easier, Dan would have had it. But he pretty much hit that jump every time. There was one point where he did get it. He did get to the 3 P-switches and then missed them. He jumped too early and went up the side of the P-switch. It was heartbreaking.
So how did Dan do? I haven't really even asked.
So that was pretty much, he never hit the P-switches there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he was very consistent. He was making it to that part literally almost every time. But
he just couldn't figure out the process to get through there, huh?
He couldn't get that one jump that's giving Justin trouble and problems right now.
What is it with that jump? It's just a really quick boom boom, right?
Yeah, you just want to jump pretty much instantly. It is. I mean, I'm not going to say it's an easy jump. It's definitely, like, I think, misleading and difficult, but it's something you have to learn. If you don't learn it, it's going to cost you so much. I mean, we're already close to halfway through here now. Justin he's got that flow. Like watching his jumps, they're really good, but
It's just that one thing, man.
yeah.
Well, not that time, but
Yeah, that time
overall.
let go of the down button. I think Justin's taking a lot less deaths early. Jaaski's dying a lot more in this first section than Justin is. I'm not sure what exactly the cause of that is, but
Yeah, I mean, I've been focusing mostly on Justin, but it's been a lot of just looking over to the left and seeing Jaaski still struggling with the second section of this, which is
this one right here.
not a good. Yeah, this part right here, not a good sign.
We got to give a lot of props to Jaaski. I think we've said this before, but he is waking up extremely early to be a part of this tournament.
That's true. Yeah, he's always going to be playing on a pretty massive handicap.
Yeah, so he is from New Zealand, and it is very early in the morning, so we do appreciate him being here, and I think, yeah, that definitely is a bit of a disadvantage for sure.
Justin, again, just short.
Same jump every time. Those are the patterns you don't want to get stuck into. It's very easy to not realize what you need to change in some of these instances, and you can just repeatedly die in the same objective over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting there every time, though. That's the big difference between these two competitors. But it won't matter if Jaaski beats it first, if he gets through it first, even if he's less consistent. Justin got it, though. That was the jump he needed. He's got it. Progress being made. Let's see if he can sight read it like you did. He's got good jumps. Oh, he bonks, though. That'll be a death. But that is another lead for Justin here, most assuredly. And he's finally got that jump. Now, will he be consistent at it, though? Getting a jump once isn't enough. You need to get it every time.
I didn't even realize you've been talking about me sight reading the end of this section.
Well, both, honestly.
Both of them. Yeah, I know. The second one was even crazier to me.
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. But I think this section, it's harder than it looks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if this level is beatable without you were 30 seconds away. If you even died once on either of those sections, it was never going to happen.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely not. That was just exceptionally lucky.
I want to ask you that now, though. Do you think Ryan, since he's been keeping up with you in terms of most of the level's progress, do you think he'll beat this level?
Well, that's gonna be the wild card, is whether or not he's able to do well on those final sections of the first and second part.
Yeah,
because if he gets hiccuped by that, I think that's going to add at least a few minutes to each section.
And again, this map very, very long. But I mean, as we've seen, the third section really easy and very quick compared to the first two. So
yeah, he'll get through that third section lightning fast. Like I'm 100% certain of that. Yeah. So I think it's going to be all about the second part.
Both players into the second section of this first part of the level, and both players looks like making out of that section. Justin does take an early bonk, unfortunately. He's going to start over. Jaaski is going to have to reset the P switches here, but we'll see if he can make some good progress here. He hasn't made it up here nearly as often, but again, that doesn't really matter if you can just do really well on it. That's the difference between some of the players. He does take the same bonk that Justin took, though.
Darn. It's really tight up there.
Yep, Justin with the slight lead, but when you get we're at the halfway point now here, close to, and when you get close to the end of the time, if both players are close like this and they're both close to a checkpoint, it pretty much comes down to who gets the checkpoint first at that point, usually. Yeah. So even though both players, even if one player is playing better than the other, it really just comes down to who gets it first. And I think Justin has kind of struggled up top here so much that Jaaski has now sort of built the consistency he's needed to start getting here a bit more consistently.
Jaaski still, though, in that second part.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. He just can't get it.
Justin took another of the same bonk. So that was that question answered. Will he bonk there again? He did.
Almost halfway through now. I'm honestly very surprised that neither of them has hit the first checkpoint yet.
You never expect. I think I've been surprised almost every week with which objectives people struggle with. I think it's always different for each player sometime too. Like I think week one, it was like, all right, double munchers, people are going to struggle with that. Everyone's going to struggle with it. But then Ryan had no issues with it at all. And then last week I was like, I don't think anyone's going to struggle with any of these points. And a lot of people struggled with that first spiny section from last week. That was a big key struggle point for a lot of players. So
what was that?
There was so it was a bunch of saw jumps with thwomps, and there was a section in between the thwomps that had spinies. And
I'm trying so hard. It's getting all mixed together now. all the
It was very-
stages. It's only been 3 though.
no signal.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we're good. We're back.
Okay.
Bit of an AverMedia capture card issue there. But he's back into it. Only lost a little bit of time. Justin back in that that final section, but another bonk.
Jaaski switching to Joy-Cons, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's stitching runs together now. Splicing.
God damn it. Knew I couldn't trust him.
I think I want to say we'll see both these players get to the first checkpoint, but I said that.
I don't know, man. Jaaski's starting to regress a little.
I mean, with 30 minutes left, it's going to come down to the same thing, I think, with Dan. Like, is there going to be a point where the progress just stops?
Yeah. I heard my chat telling me Dan was losing his mind a little bit.
He, towards the end of each game, he tends to get a little bit to the point where he starts just kind of talking. Even if he has nothing to say.
I just scream. That's what I do.
Yeah. My Mario Maker frustration is usually just not really screaming, but more just angry at the... Oh, Justin accidentally started over, I think. Or he went to the menu for a second.
Oh, no. Is he actually changing controllers?
Maybe.
I think he is.
I mean, totally legal.
He's going Joy-Con, dude. All right. This is a hell of an approach.
Oh, I didn't think of that, actually. Yeah, no, I use Joy-Cons on my own, so I didn't think that maybe the Pro Controller D-pad just might be kind of a jerk. Were you using the Pro
I was on
controller?
a Pro Controller.
Okay,
yeah,
so maybe it's not as bad.
A good time.
I have heard that D-pad, though, can be really finicky, so maybe it varies controller to controller. I mean, when we talk about esports stuff, I know this is like esports light, but when we talk about esports stuff, controller preference is really important. I know the Smash community makes a big deal about finding the perfect controller for every player, so it matters. I mean, it's the same thing as getting the right keyboard or the right thing. Hold on, Justin's got a shot here. He's going to hit the P-switches.
Come on, man.
We're going to listen in here. Good jumps. Good attempt. One more to go. He's got it.
Oh, dude.
Justin! Let's go.
What is this shit? Oh, this is okay.
Okay, he didn't panic quite as much with that.
Oh, fuck. I feel like such a fool now.
I will say, though, that I think Toadette's model, it's kind of hard to tell that you have a mushroom, actually. It was a bit weird.
Well, I mean, still, though.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Justin forgot to hold down.
If I hit start over, will I go back to the first checkpoint? I'm
Big
too afraid to
advantage now
proceed,
here for
honestly.
Justin, though.
So I'm just waiting to go die. Yo, let's go.
Yeah, Justin needs to not start over now. Jaaski, he's making that progress, but there's the bonk again. I wonder if the Joy-Con switch was super helpful for him. I will say the Joy-Con buttons, I don't have mine next to me. They are separate, and I think the Pro Controller has a connected D-pad. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's a big difference in that the Joy-Con, you can absolutely control which buttons you're holding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that was his justification.
Yeah.
Justin's getting on a good pace here, starting to figure this out.
Interesting enough, yeah, someone in chat just mentioned it, but Justin does use a DualShock for this. So everyone's got kind of their own preferences for sure.
I mean, I remember back in the Halo days, I probably went through like a dozen Xbox 360 controllers before I found the one I liked.
Yeah, I think I got lucky because I really liked the Xbox 360 controller. I was a big fan of it, so I had one, and that was pretty much it until I smashed it playing Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's a common thing with teenagers in Call of Duty, smashing controllers, right? Everyone did that, not just me.
Oh yeah.
So this part, you definitely had some issues with it, but I want to talk about the donuts. I think you really didn't like the donuts. What was the issue?
So they okay, I think it was the first time that I got through it successfully. I think I had determined after that like, okay, so I just got to send it every time. I just got to commit and then it's going to work. But when I did that, I got to the point where I was sending it so far, I was hitting the bottom bouncer on the wall instead of getting to the donut.
Yeah.
So like that, every time that happened, I was like, well, shit, I have to adjust now. And then I would adjust, and I would adjust too much in the other direction, and I wouldn't get to the donut in time. So it was just, I couldn't find the consistent approach that let me, or that I was comfortable with, I guess.
Yeah, well, I was mentioning this. The problem that I had clearing the level was that I would get to the donut and then just forget to press the A button or hold the A button, and it would do a small jump. And that, even though like you in your head you're going, all right, hold the A button. I got to press the A button to jump on this donut. Sometimes you just don't. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
And that can definitely mess you up.
I think that it took me way too long as well to realize how I wanted to approach it. Like it didn't occur to me that I could, like, it seems so simple in retrospect, but it didn't occur to me that I could bounce straight up off the donut into the bouncer pad. And I mean, like, it is literally exactly how you've designed it to be played. But in my mind, for some reason, I was like, okay, I have to jump straight up from the donut, then run into the wall, bounce off, and go the other way instead of like having a continuous action.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. You did figure it out eventually, though. I think the first one you had down really well. It was the second one that seemed to be giving you the most trouble.
Yeah.
But you kind of developed your own strat where you just kind of avoided it and you jumped over the donut, or you jumped on the donut and then landed on the cloud and then just ran to the left, which
that was like a bit of brute force too. And it was like the timing was a little off too, but it did work, like you said. Like what works, I guess.
Yeah. Justin definitely with a significant lead. Jaaski doesn't seem like the controller switch helped particularly much there.
Yeah.
But he's, I mean, still able to do this. I think the second section is definitely going to slow Justin down a lot. And we could have the reverse that we had last time these guys played. Maybe Jaaski's the one to make the comeback here.
That'd be interesting.
Justin, I don't know if he knows he can press A on the donuts. I don't know if he knows he can do a high jump there. Or if he does, he's just still struggling a little bit with it.
On that second donut, it's tough to get that jump. It's like it's not quite, well, is it a high jump? No, like, because every time I went for the high jump, I would hit the lower bouncer. So it's just like a little bit less than a full send.
Yeah.
To get into that little nook in there to hit the donut.
Oh, I think Justin figured it out though. I think he didn't know that he could press A.
Yeah, there you go.
And yeah, Jaaski's gonna need a really, really good series of attempts here to make up ground, because we're actually already 37 minutes in. I didn't realize how much time had passed. I think both players probably definitely out of range of finishing the level now, but I think we expected that again. The level's very long, and even with
you expecting any clears for this week?
I was unsure because of the level's length. I knew the level was not too difficult to be beaten. I just was worried about the length of the level, and I think because you'd had those two sight reads, that definitely made it possible for you to beat it. And I think you kind of circumvented that length issue by just not having to worry about those two sections.
Yeah, if you just skip those parts, then you're good.
Yeah, no, I mean, you joke, but that's exactly what kind of needed to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, Jaaski definitely hitting probably the hardest regression we've seen here on this first section.
Yeah, this is brutal, man. Certainly wasn't expecting this.
You know, I'm not actually surprised, because when I watched Panga play this level, I always bring him up because he's a very, very good Mario Maker player, and he's kind of gives a good perspective on things. He struggled only on this section, this very first section.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting to see a player like that. I think this section is, if you don't quite get it, it's tough. I think if you get it, you're like, oh yeah, totally easy peasy. Kind of like the shell level. It really is just like once you have an understanding of it.
I was gonna make a similar comment there. Like maybe this is just Jaaski's week too, you know, like where it's out of his wheelhouse. It's just something that for whatever reason it will not click in his brain.
Yep. Justin has moved the needle here, but he's gonna immediately die now as he does bonk instantly on the high jumps, as we called them. Goes ahead and skips the springs there, which I think is actually a viable strat. I'm not sure because he didn't have enough time anyway, but
that was really good experience for him up there though. He got a lot of information out of that.
I mean, there is an outside shot where he does beat the level if he can do what you did and sight read that final section. Unlikely, but still a possibility.
Yeah. Why can't I? Man, week 3 has just drawn such a blank for me all of a sudden.
The castle level, the lava.
How did it start? In the lava, right? Oh, okay, now it's all coming. It's coming back now. All he had
Yeah,
to say
yeah,
was
yeah.
lava. There we go. I got it.
Yeah, that was a lot of players struggled last week with that, which again was surprising to me. I wouldn't expect that. Justin, oh, so close. He is having a really good consistency here, though. Jaaski finally back to the final part of this one.
Yeah, Jaski's getting better at the second part of the first section.
I
For
worry
sure.
about that bonk right there every time. I think every player except for you have struggled with that bonk.
I hit that one a couple times too, for sure, but I didn't struggle nearly as much as they are.
Justin's progress through the second section is actually of note right now. He's doing really well on that. We'll see if he can do well here on the high jumps. Good so far. Again, opting to skip the springs, which is apparently a totally viable strat.
Yeah, might even be. I mean, it's about the same speed, I'd imagine.
Oh, he slowed down though.
Oh, dude, but he's crushing it in this second section.
Yeah. I mean, again, outside shot, still 20 minutes left. It is enough time considering how short that final section is. But he's making it very hard for Jaaski to catch up now for sure. Even if Jaaski gets the checkpoint, he's still got a lot of work to do.
Here's Justin's first of many instances likely of having to just wait it out.
Jaaski, another shot. Got to avoid that bonk. See if he recognizes it. He does. He made the adjustment, but he bonked later.
Oh, no. Oh, jeez.
No, we saw that with Dan. Dan did succeed a couple of times at that and then just bonked later on in the section.
And that's progress.
It is progress for sure, and it's all about that consistency. And when you've learned the jump now, can you repeat that execution? If you can, you're gonna make progress. I think Justin bonked here. I can't tell.
Yeah, he's slowing down.
Yeah. I definitely see a very easily possible second checkpoint for Justin. Again, completing the level, pretty tough, but I could easily see him getting to that second checkpoint.
Yeah. He's going to show me a little more consistency. He was crushing it for the first few attempts going through here, but he needs to see that last little bit, and then once he's got all the puzzle pieces, he's just got to put it together.
Yep.
It's certainly possible, though. I mean, I'm seeing the signs again of perhaps a little bit of regression here for him.
Yep. Even just a death on that saw there.
Yeah.
Happens to almost everyone for sure.
Yeah. What does Jaaski got to do, man? I mean, it's
consistent early mistakes because you see the same progress from him, I think, that you see from Justin overall. It's just if you make a lot of early mistakes that you shouldn't be making, you just lose so much time, and then those successful progression attempts get so much further between each other.
Yeah. I'm like, because he's good.
He is good.
This for whatever reason he just can't seem to get.
I think he's one of the better players at learning how to do stuff too. That's the thing, is that I think once you give him an obstacle, he understands it well. Ooh, slick move by Justin there. That was some frame perfect stuff right there. Oh, but then oh no, throws it away as usual. It's the Mario Maker curse. I've experienced it myself, but the second you do something really, really cool and like you save something, you are cursed to die in the dumbest way possible. That is just how it works.
I don't know what happened in his brain there, but all right.
Yeah, this is what we see with Dan too. Is I think Dan, he's got the ability to learn stuff. He does, but when you die this often due to mechanical errors, you just don't give yourself enough time.
Yeah.
And that's definitely Ryan's greatest strength, is he has a large lack of mechanical errors, which is funny for someone like him. Oh,
who's a robot?
Yeah. But yeah, mechanically in Mario Maker, he does not die a lot for sure. I think he has like the lowest average DPM of like anyone over the course of the tournament. Justin
does have that dead energy now too.
He does.
That's tough to compete with.
It is a great strength. Justin's definitely having trouble now. He was making some really good progress, but struggling, kind of missing donut jumps. I don't think he's bonking as much, but just some issues here and there with jump height.
Yeah. I'm pretty close to chalking this one up as just not jaaski's map.
Yeah, it's looking that way. So again, it's with 15 minutes left. Very, very hard for jaaski to make up enough ground here. Justin would have to basically make zero progress for the last 15 minutes, and jaaski would need to complete this checkpoint within the next couple of minutes. That's pretty much the only way.
I think Justin might actually, unless he does it perfectly without the springs right at the end of that part there, I think he might be a little short on time.
Yeah,
the way he's doing it.
His strat is hurting him a little bit because you don't get that momentum carrying over through the springs. That's essentially what it does, is it gives you your momentum back in the other direction. And the way he's been doing it, you kind of lose a lot of that. So it is possible, but yeah, it makes it really tough for him.
Yeah. And I wonder if he'll, I mean, like I was telling you, like there were a couple of obstacles where I just sort of ended up applying something that probably wasn't the designed approach for the obstacle, but it was working for me.
Yep.
And if he starts to do that with this particular section right here, that could be a problem, because I don't know if he realizes that that's like inherently so much slower than what you're meant to do.
Yep, it is. Finding your own strats or unintended strats can both be a blessing and a curse. There are some instances where you can find an easier strat. Again, with the slick move, I'm loving that with Justin. That is just crazy. But yeah, if it's too slow or doesn't have the consistency to it, then it can be a huge detriment to have that kind of thing, and you don't want to get stuck in that regard. That's why, I mean, when you made the adjustment to the short jumps on the spinies at the end, that's a huge benefit because you found the easier, faster, and more consistent way to do the objective.
Yep. Man, I gotta watch Justin more to figure out how to be Zen.
He's got an ability to completely tune out frustration. It's one of his greatest strengths.
I don't know if I've ever seen this boy even like remotely salty.
Even on the rarest of occasions where I've seen him be salty, it's so minor and so light.
I just got a vape, I guess. Yeah,
That might be it. It's looking tough for him now, though, with 13 minutes left. I don't know if he'll be seeing this next checkpoint, as he's started to struggle a lot here. Will jaaski see the first checkpoint, though? I'll be honestly surprised if he doesn't get it, but he definitely doesn't really seem to get the sliding mechanic down very well.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he's got that down. It's just he's not got the mechanics necessary to be as precise as he got to be up there.
Yeah, it's just a lot of jump mistakes and not a lack of understanding that's hurting him. You're right. It's just the mistakes. Justin, on the other hand, struggling with the opposite. I think he's not really getting this section down very well and doesn't understand the springs are there to help you.
Yeah. I wonder what chat's telling him about that.
It can be tough because the springs can be a little annoying. They can sometimes not quite hit you in the way that you want them to, but they're definitely consistent enough that you can use them almost every time.
I think at some point he's just got to realize up there that even when he's doing it well, he's still really tight on time, and you got to change it up somehow so that you're not.
I think he's switching his momentum too early. I think he's changing his speed before he hits the spring. And you want to change your direction. Sorry, not speed, but direct. You want to change your direction after you hit the spring, not before. Let me see again here. See how he does this jump here. Yeah, see, he's changing to the right before he hits the spring. That's what's causing him issue right now. Same thing there. He hits the donut and he turns to the left before he hits the spring.
Yep. I feel like I might have actually been doing something similar to that too at some point in this part.
You have a lot of time to change direction once you hit the spring because you've gained so much momentum that even though you do lose momentum for every frame, you're holding the opposite direction, but you have so much that those frames don't really matter. You have plenty of time to swap over. Ooh, jaaski going very slow here, but I think he picked up the pace. No, he missed the spring. Either way, takes another death. 10 minutes left for both players. Both players looking for that final checkpoint. It's looking like Justin probably has this one locked down now at this point.
I called Bear getting tilted on the springs in this section. Dude, I can predict there's going to be sand in the desert. That doesn't make me very impressive.
It'll be... You know, one thing that I always found funny is a lot of people really don't like the P music. Did you find that annoying? Because I know a lot of people...
I liked the tune that was playing in the stage before the P music started.
Yeah.
So maybe that was a problem for me.
I think a lot of people really don't like it. And I can tell you, as someone who listened to 12 straight hours of the P-Switch music, yeah, it can be a little grating, for sure.
Yeah, I understand that.
Jaaski took another bonk in that same section.
Man, he's getting closer, though. It's just the pace is not nearly enough.
You want to probably, like, I think an interesting stat you could do here, we won't have it, but like you could probably go look at how many times each player has got to that bonk. Like, how many times did Justin see that bonk, and how many times has Jaaski seen that bonk? And I bet you, even though Justin hasn't been on the first section for the past like 20-30 minutes or so, he probably still saw it more times than Jaaski has at this point.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about that, actually.
And that's where mechanical issues can really hurt you at the end of the day.
You've got to bonk the bonk.
Oh, Justin, saw death. Those hurt. All those saw jumps are pretty straightforward, but when you get so used to the sliding mechanics, they can throw you off at one point.
Yeah.
Good pace from Jaaski here. Another shot.
Justin's starting to put it together with the springs.
It does seem like he is. Maybe he finally figured that out. Jaaski, we don't want to see that bonk. Oh, that was an earlier one that time. Let's see. Yeah, Justin is completely, yeah, you're right. He's turning that one around. And not sure if he took that from Chad or figured it out himself, but either way, he's got the springs down again, and that could give him a chance here with 8 minutes left to get that last checkpoint, but it's going to be really tough. As he's still still hasn't seen that last section.
I'm pulling for him. I want to see it.
It is always nice to see someone get a final checkpoint, or as we saw with you, a level completion at the very, very end.
I still can't believe it, man.
It was as tight as it can get, pretty much.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't think I had enough time for another go.
No,
if I
absolutely not. Yeah, that section was, I think, just about that long, about 30 seconds. So I think the restart time probably would have got you.
Mm-hmm.
Another shot for Jaaski here.
Come on, buddy.
He does get the jump, but he bunks in the second one.
Oh no. He's so close, man.
Yeah, you can tell it. Like that's again, like it's just his inability to get back there enough times to start putting the pieces together. He's doing it. He's putting the pieces together, but he just doesn't have enough time.
Yep. I still think he's got it in him in this next 6 minutes or so, but
for sure, I think
that's about it.
It might be another one of those situations where he needs to sight read the last section, but we've seen it's possible. Even Justin probably could have done it. It only took Justin 2 tries, so
yeah.
That last section might not be as hard as I originally had thought it was.
I think a lot of it too is that by that point in your attempt, you've conditioned your thumbs so well in that last like 10 to 15 seconds that you're so much better at it in that moment, you know?
For sure. I can agree with that. Oof, rough start there, so he'll have a reset, no worries. We'll see if he can make some progress here. Good jumps, no bonk. He's got it. Let's see how he handles this last section. Oh, he let go of down.
Oh, no.
He let go of down. He may have had it there, but...
Oh, he recovered so nicely, too, but then, damn it.
Don't think he would have had enough time, but he's got it. Like he has all the pieces now.
Yep, he's seen it all.
Really unfortunate that he let go of down there. I don't think Justin is going to be able to make it through this section. He now that he's figured out the springs, he's got it, but
he was just doing so much better when he got in here initially, and
Yeah.
now he's regressed so much in the second section.
you'll ask some players, I think Mathis said this at one point, some players do a lot better the first time or the first few times they see an objective.
Oh, I absolutely do.
Yeah, than the middle section, and then they start to build that pace back up over time.
Yeah.
I mean, see, this is what I'm talking about. Jaaski, no bonk at all. He makes it right back there again. He's got the ability.
Yeah.
He did kind of stop in that spring section, though.
That was interesting. He's still good, though, right?
No, he keeps letting go of down. It's killing him right now.
Yeah. He's right there, dude. He's got to get it.
If he had been able to keep up this pace consistently throughout the whole thing, I think we'd see him pretty much tie with Justin right now as well. This is the big difference maker. I can't reiterate enough how good Jaaski is at figuring stuff out.
Yep. Come on, Justin.
He's got another shot here. He's been definitely struggling on this high jump section. Ooh. I don't think he can recover this. Yeah, now for sure he can't.
That entry jump into this part, for whatever reason, he's not nailing it, you know? Like he's getting a little bit of stutter in there every time.
The transition from like an uphill to a flat plane can be a little confusing for sure. I think that can cause you issues, and it is you know, that's not the easiest jump in the world. It is pretty tight there right at the start. All right, Jaaski, he's still got time, and he's got all the answers he needs here.
I fully believe
it's all about execution now. Looking for no bonks here.
Come on, buddy.
Oh, you know, wait, he bonked, but he might have it. Oh, he pressed A.
Oh, dude,
it was.
That hurts me.
That
so hurts me, man. Fuck. Oh, I hate that.
Justin missing the springs again. He went back to his old ways of changing direction too early. Two and a half minutes left. Pretty much close to impossible for Justin to get that checkpoint, but I mean, not out of the realm of possibility.
I'm all in on Jaaski getting this first checkpoint.
Oh, he absolutely. I mean, look at this. Out of nowhere, he almost just doesn't die anymore now in these first two sections.
Oh yeah, consistency is nutty now.
We were looking for that throughout the whole tournament and throughout the whole level today, and he's finally got it just a bit too late. Oh, but another bonk will seal that one.
It takes what, like probably like a full 30 seconds to get back up to that point.
It's a grueling level for sure.
I'm gonna give it a proper count here.
Oh well, not just yet.
Well, never mind. I guess not.
Justin back to the high jumps, gets a good entry. Oh, he jumped too late. Unfortunate. So close, but not quite there. 1.5 minutes left. You got to think Jaaski's probably on his last couple of attempts here.
Yeah. Missing maybe one more.
But we'd love to see a checkpoint at the last second. Even though it won't get him a win, it'll still be nice to see.
Yeah, man, that's a good 25 seconds to even get back up to there from the start.
Takes a bonk. I saw that one coming that time.
Yeah, he was a little too late.
One more chance for Jaaski here, I think.
Justin getting through high jumps again.
Takes another bonk on the first one.
The struggles. Come on, Jaaski.
Last chance for sure, I think, for Jaaski now. I don't know. I think if he dies immediately, like if he dies on this section, I don't think he will have enough time. I think this is it for him. Last chance. He'll get an attempt, though. He will absolutely get an attempt here.
All right, come on, buddy.
Over the first jump. Here comes the bonk. Doesn't bonk. Bonks on the next one, though. It's over.
Oh no, that
He-
was so close.
He got the hard one, but
Damn it.
not quite there. And he definitely does not have. It'll be brutal if he finishes on this one now.
We gotta give him one more go here.
With the timer running down, 5 seconds left. It's not.
All right.
We'll watch it. I mean, I don't want to. I'm gonna go talk with him, but
Yeah.
we'll go let him know what's happened. I will be right back in just a moment. Jaaski,
Hey.
1 hour is up. You seem to have some issues with this first section. What was going on here with this one?
Just little mistakes, and
Yeah.
you couldn't make a little mistake. You couldn't afford to.
You seem to, right at the very end there, you had a real burst of a bunch of attempts in a row that were really
So-
good. What was keeping you from getting to that point earlier?
So you might have noticed the controller switch.
Yes.
I'm gonna pin a lot of my early difficulty on the D-pad on the Pro controller.
Yeah, I've definitely heard stories about the Pro Controller D-pad being finicky for some people.
I definitely I think it was noticeable how much more consistent it became after I switched to the Joy-Cons. So I wish I was on Joy-Cons straight away, but c'est la vie. I don't know. I was close, but yeah, little mistakes, little bonks, and you can't afford that.
Yep, is definitely a tight timing. Well, you are welcome to join for commentary if you'd like for the final match. Otherwise, we'll see you next week, man.
Sounds good.
All right. Hello, Justin.
Hey, buddy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You got yourself another win. You're moving up to 3-1